Welcome to the series, The Trangia and How to Use It. Today is episode 1, How to Set the Trangia up. In this episode, we will be looking at the equipment and the method involved in using the Trangia. Let's start with the equipment. First, we have the fry pan. We have the fuel pot. We have the simmer lid. We have what I call the clasps. We have 2 pots, one small, one large. We also have the pot stand where we put the pots in, or the frying pan on top of. And lastly, we have the windshield and the oxygen provider. The clasps are a very important part of the Trangia equipment. They help people to pick up and to move around pots and pans safely, ensuring that they get as little risk of getting a burn. The way that you do this is by separating the 2 long strips of metal, making sure that there is a gap in between them. You clip this or place it onto a pan using the gap, and then you simply squeeze together the 2 long strips of metal. Then you can pick up and move around your pots and pans as you would like to. What we're going to be looking at now is how to put all the equipment of the Trangia together, starting with the windshield, and then we're going to add the pot holder. They both have grooves in them around the base of the pot holder and the top of the windshield, as you can see. Place your windshield down on a firm, stable piece of ground or table. Then line the grooves of the pot holder and the windshield up, push down gently, and twist so that the grooves are no longer on top of each other. As you can see, they'll be in different places around. This will mean that they will not come apart and they will be held together firmly. The next piece of equipment we're going to be looking at is the fuel pot. Simply unscrew the lid of the fuel pot, put that to one side, and you'll put your fuel pot inside the hole, which is in the windshield. So what we're going to be doing now, before we can use our clasps to put our pot on or our frying pan on, we need to have fuel and we need to have a flame. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the safety bottle full of methylated spirits, and we're going to fill up the fuel pot. Then I'm going to teach you how to light it. Now, so we can use our Trangia, we're going to have to light it. Depending on your preference, you can either light it with the pot holder on, or, like what I'm going to be doing in this video, I'm going to light it with the pot holder off. You can choose to do this too if you would like. Now, before we light, we're going to have to remember some rules. Firstly, always have an eye on the flame. Secondly, do not do anything you're not confident in doing. Thirdly, never do activity around the flames and make sure that people keep their distance. And lastly, always have the simmering on whilst burning so you can keep control of the flame. Now for the lighting. What we're going to do, we're going to take the fuel pot out and we're going to use our methylated spirits. To do this, simply unscrew the bottle lid so that it comes out like that. Next, you can either lift this up or you can leave it down on the ground. You push down on the red button on the top of the methylated spirits bottle so you can open it. Next, simply pour over and let the spirits run out. Now that our pot is full, we need to remember, screw back on the lid of the methylated spirits to ensure it does not spill and cause a fire hazard. Place that to one side, away from your fire, and put the fuel pot back in. What we're going to be doing now is lighting our flame. Take a simmering, open it, and push it onto the fuel pot. Then take a match, strike it, gently put it into the fuel pot, and remove straight away. Your flame should come up. After that, unless you've already got your pot holder on, simply put your pot holder back on. Line up the grooves like you learnt before. Gently push down, keep your hands away from the fire, and twist. What we're going to be learning about now is how to extinguish the flame. When you're done, there are two methods which you can use to do this. Number one, you can wait for the fuel to run out so there will be no more fire. Or you can use the second step, which is to remove the simmering, close it, and put it back in. You have to be very careful with this step because it is quite dangerous. So what you're going to do is you're going to grab your clasp, reach in, push the bits of metal together, lift up, take out. You may want to give the simmering a few moments to cool down because it will probably be quite hot. Once that's happened, simply close it and I'll instruct you on how to put it back on. Now that my simmering has cooled down a little bit, and I've closed the lid, I'm going to put it onto the flame. This will mean that the flame will no longer be able to run, as there will be nowhere for it to go. So, take back your sleeves, and we're going to push it on. Simply drop it on, or if you miss the target and it doesn't go straight onto the fuel pot, what you can do is move it around with your clasp very carefully so that it is in the right position. Thank you for watching. I hope you've learnt a lot about how to use your Trangia, how to set it up, and how to light the flame. There are 2 more episodes in this series, so please go and watch those for more information on how to use the Trangia. Welcome to the series, The Trangia and How to Use It. This is episode 2, How to Cook with a Trangia. What we're going to be learning about today is cooking on a Trangia, and we're going to be demonstrating with hot chocolate. So like we learned about in episode 1, you're going to have to fill your fuel pot with methylated spirits from your safety bottle. Open your simmering so you're ready for cooking, place it on top, light your match, strike your flame, and put your match to one side. Once you've done that, add your pot holder, making sure that the holding stems are down. Push down gently, careful of the flame, and twist so it is all together. Now what you're going to get is a nice big pot full of water. What you're going to do is get your clasps, open them, put them on, clasp them together, pull up, and put them onto the flame. going to do is to get our fry pan, turn it over, and simply push it on top. It's going to take a few minutes for the water to boil, and then we'll be able to assemble the hot chocolate. Once your water is boiled, or at a sufficient temperature for your hot chocolate, you want to remove the lid of the pan. Because it might be hot, you may want to use a tea towel or hand grips, or you can just use your bare hands. Place this to one side to cool off. Now what we're going to do is get a cup full of hot chocolate powder or cocoa powder with sugar, and we're going to fill it with boiling water. Once you've added water to your hot chocolate powder, you want to grab a spoon and stir it in. It will probably be quite hot, so you want to cool it down with milk, or if you're camping, powdered milk. If you have powdered milk, you simply just get cold water and you add that powder and the cold water to it. However, I have cow's milk, so I'm just going to add that. What you need to do now is remove your boiling water from the heat. Set it aside for cleaning. Then we need to extinguish the flame. So grab hold of your simmering and remove it from the pot. Let's extinguish the flame now. Thank you very much for watching this episode. There is one more episode in the series, episode 3, which will be focusing on how to clean a Trangia. Welcome to the series, The Trangia and How to Use It. This is episode 3, How to Clean a Trangia. After cooking in episode 2, we now have dirty pots and pans, and we also, from episode 1 and 2, have a dirty Trangia setup. So we need to clean it. What we do is we take it apart once cool, otherwise you will burn yourself. First, take your fuel pot and the lid from the start of episode 1, screw them together so that it is sealed. Place this to one side. The fuel pot will not need to be cleaned, so you can just leave it on the side. Then we want to unpack the pot holder and the windshield from each other. Next, you want to grab yourself a tub. With this tub, get the boiling water from episode 2 that you left behind, or boil yourself some more, and just wait for it to cool a tiny bit so that you do not melt down the plastic of your bucket. Pour this water into the bucket so that it's ready to clean with. As you will see on the bottom of your pans and on the inside of your pot holder, there is burn. This is from the fuel. It's completely normal, but it just needs to be cleaned off, otherwise it will cause stain. What I'm going to be using to clean my pots, pans, cup and spoon with are these soapy scrubbers. Perfect for camping, and your everyday scourer. Put your soapy scrubber into the water and just move it around, and this will get the soap bubbles starting to come up, ready for cleaning. We're now ready to pack everything up. Take the windshield, put the pot stand inside, stand the stems up, put the big pot, then the small pot, the fuel pot, the simmer ring, and the clasp. Pop stems down, get your fry pan, and push it on top. Thank you for watching this series, the Trangia and how to use it. Hopefully episodes 1, 2 and 3 have helped you to learn more about the Trangia, putting it together, using all of the equipment, cooking with it and cleaning it.